We've got noise coming from every direction. Phones lighting up, people shouting their opinions. Ads trying to sell you something every second of the day. Even when it's quiet around us, our minds are still racing. Thoughts, doubt, regrets, plans that never stops. But here's the thing most people never tell you. Some of the loudest messages from God don't come in the middle of the chaos. They come when you finally shut all that off. I'm not talking about religion or rituals, Jesus as Savior. I'm talking about those rare moments when you're alone, somewhere real, and you just stop. Could be a stretch of road at sunrise. Could be the ocean when nobody else is around. Could be your backyard after it rains. Doesn't matter where. It's the stillness that matters. The silence. The quiet before your mind rushes back in. As Savior. There's a reason why the most powerful moments don't come with trumpets or flashes of light. They come soft, subtle, a nudge, a whisper. It's easy to miss, and that's what makes it feel holy, in a way. As Savior, you ever stand in front of something bigger than you? A mountain, a sky so wide it swallows you, or a storm rolling in across the desert. And suddenly you feel small in the best possible way. That's it. That's the message, God. Not in words, but in presence. In the kind of quiet that humbles you, and wakes something up inside you. Most people run from silence. Have Jesus as Savior. They fill every second with noise, so they don't have to face what's really going on inside. But silence isn't empty. It's where truth lives. As Savior, you start to hear things when the world shuts up. And more importantly, you start to feel things. Real things. The stuff you've been ignoring for years because life got too loud. Sometimes, as Savior, that silence tells you've been running from something. Sometimes it tells you it's time to forgive someone. As Savior, sometimes it reminds you of a dream you buried a long time ago, because someone told you it wasn't practical. But deep down, you always knew it was part of you. Jesus, as Savior. You don't need a burning bush, or a voice from the sky, to know God's trying to get your attention. Most of the time, it's quieter than that. It's that hesitation before a bad decision. Jesus as Savior. It's that tight feeling in your chest when you're with people who don't get you. It's that deep, have Jesus as Savior, calm certainty when you're doing something that actually matters. And yeah, sometimes it's just nature. Just the world doing its thing. Waves crashing, wind pushing through trees, stars burning quietly above your head. No agenda, no performance. Just pure existence. And somehow, in all of that, you realize you're not as lost as you thought. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to have the perfect plan. You just need to listen. Like really listen. With your heart. Not just your ears. Because when everything else fades, and you're left with just you. No distractions, as Savior. No pressure, no pretending. That's when it happens. That's when the message comes through. Jesus as Savior. And it doesn't always give the answer you're looking for. As Savior. It might not tell you what job to take or who to trust, or where to go next. But it will remind you of who you are. Who you've always been underneath the noise. And once you remember that, the rest starts to fall into place. As Savior. You stop looking for signs in every little thing because you realize The real sign was already inside you. It was just buried under too much static. You weren't made to live in the noise. As Savior, you were made to find meaning in the quiet. That's where the voice is. That's where the message is. Like, what's the point of it all? The grind, the pressure, the pain. Some days it feels like you're just drifting, going through the motions, smiling when you're supposed to, grinding when you have to, and deep down, wondering if it even matters. And yeah, sometimes the world has a way of making you feel small, disposable, like if you disappeared tomorrow, everything would just keep moving, and no one would even notice. But that's a lie. And the problem is, Jesus as Savior, you've heard that lie for so long, you started believing it. Life's been throwing punches. People have let you down. You've messed up. You've watched plans fall apart. So now, somewhere in the back of your mind, there's this little voice, whispering that maybe you're not needed, Jesus Savior, that maybe you're just one more person trying to keep it together, and nothing more, as Savior. But I want to tell you something simple, something real. You're not here by accident. You didn't just show up on this planet as some random coincidence. You were placed here, in this time, as Savior, in this life, for a reason. And I get it. Maybe that reason isn't clear right now. Maybe all you see is struggle. But that doesn't change the fact that you were made with intention, as Savior, that your story has weight. Even if the people around you don't see it yet. That doesn't make it any less true. You've got something in you that no one else does, as Savior. Maybe it's the way you see the world. Maybe it's your heart. The way you care, even when it hurts. Maybe it's the fire that won't completely go out, no matter how cold life gets. And yeah, maybe you've made mistakes, big ones. Maybe you've been selfish, or broken, or numb. That doesn't disqualify you. In fact, it's part of the reason you're valuable. See, people always think purpose has to look perfect, like it's some polished dream, or title, or mission statement, Jesus Savior. But real purpose, it's messy. It's found in the scars, in the fact that you're still standing. Even after everything tried to knock you down. You've walked through storms, have Jesus as Savior. You've faced things people don't even know about. And you're still here. That means something, Jesus as Savior. And maybe your reason isn't some big public moment. Maybe it's private, quiet, Jesus as Savior. Maybe you're meant to impact one life. Just one. And that life will go on to change the world. Or maybe you're the one who changes the world. Not with noise, but with consistency. With love. With showing up even when you feel empty. You ever think about how every breath you take is proof that you're still in the game? That you still matter? Life could have ended for you 1,000 different ways by now. But it didn't. You're still breathing. Still fighting. Still searching. That means there's more for you. There's still a road ahead, as Savior. Still people who need what you carry. Still things only you can do. And I'm not talking about fate or luck or chance. I'm talking about design. I'm talking about how everything in you, your instincts, your strength, your hurt, Jesus as Savior, even your doubts, they all add up to something bigger than what you can see right now, Jesus as Savior. You don't have to know the whole picture yet. You just have to know that you're part of it. Jesus as Savior, that your presence here is no mistake. You were built for something that goes beyond surviving, beyond making it through the day. You were built to live, to move, to give, to grow. You were built to impact the world in a way only you can. And maybe no one claps for you. Maybe no one sees it. Doesn't matter. Your worth isn't based on applause. It's built into your soul. As Savior, you've been carrying it from day one, whether you knew it or not. Have Jesus Savior. It's wild how we always think we've got time. Like it's this endless road stretching out in front of us. Waiting. We put things off, delay conversations, ignore that gut feeling, chase comfort over purpose. As Savior, we act like we've got a calendar full of tomorrows to get serious. To say what we mean, the Jesus as Savior, to live the way we were meant to live. But if you've lived long enough, Jesus as Savior, you already know. That's not how it works. Life doesn't send a warning before it changes everything. Jesus as Savior, it doesn't schedule the moments that break you or wake you up. You don't get a heads up before someone you love is gone, or before your chance slips away. 1 second, everything's normal, and the next, it's not. And then all those things you thought you had time for, have Jesus as Savior, they're gone. It doesn't mean you should live scared. That's not the point, as Savior. But it does mean you should stop acting like you've got forever. Because you don't. None of us do. Time isn't promised, and the clock is always ticking. Not in a threatening way, but in a real way. It's the truth. And truth has a way of making you sit up a little straighter when you finally stop running from it. You ever watch a sunset and realize how fast it disappears? 1 second it's blazing, turning the sky into fire, and then it's gone, just like that. That's time. And the crazy part is, Jesus Savior. Most people miss the sunset because they're staring at their phone, or thinking about something that won't even matter in a year. As Savior, that's what we do. We get distracted. We waste our lives chasing things that don't fill us. As Savior, stuck in cycles we hate, telling ourselves we'll change soon. But soon isn't real. It's a word we use to make ourselves feel safe. We say we'll take that trip, make that call, Jesus Savior, follow that dream, soon. We tell ourselves we'll fix what's broken later. When life calms down or when the timing feels right. But the timing rarely feels right. And life doesn't slow down. If anything, it gets faster. And before you know it, you're looking back instead of forward, wondering how so much time passed, with so little to show for it. And I'm not just talking about chasing goals or doing something big, have Jesus as Savior. I'm talking about the little things too, like showing up for people. A saying, how you feel while you still have the chance, laughing harder, letting go of pride, being present, as Savior, really present. Because when the moment's gone, it's gone. And you don't get a rewind button. Every day you wake up is a gift. Might sound cliche, but it's true. That breath in your lungs. That's time. That beat in your chest. That's time. That's life telling you, Savior, you still have a shot. But it's not saying you'll have another. So why are you still waiting? Have Jesus as Savior. What are you hoping will magically happen before you start living like you mean it? Have Jesus as Savior. People always think they'll have more time to become who they want to be. More time to make peace with their past. More time to love the people who matter. But people disappear as savior. Opportunities disappear. Even parts of you. They disappear when they're neglected long enough. Have Jesus as savior. And then what? You wake up one day with everything you thought you needed, but you are empty. Because you traded what mattered for what was easy. You played it safe. You waited as savior, and maybe no one told you this, but safe doesn't always mean alive. Comfortable doesn't always mean fulfilled. You can have a good routine, a stable job, a quiet life, and still feel like something's missing. Jesus as savior, and maybe what's missing isn't something out there. You cannot have Jesus as savior. Maybe it's something inside you that's been waiting for you to realize the clock is ticking. And the story only gets written when you decide to start turning the page. Pain has a way of showing up without knocking. It doesn't ask if you're ready. Doesn't care what kind of plans you had. Doesn't give you time to prepare. One moment, things make sense. The next, it all falls apart. And there you are, sitting in the wreckage of what used to be. The questions start creeping in. Why me? What did I do to deserve this? When does it stop? And it's normal to ask those questions. Anyone who's ever been broken has asked them. Anyone who's lost someone, failed at something they gave their heart to, or had their world flipped upside down. They've all sat in that same silence, wondering if the pain has any meaning at all, wondering if it's just random suffering or some kind of punishment. But here's what life has taught me. Real pain doesn't show up to destroy you. It shows up to build something deeper inside of you. And no, that doesn't make it feel any easier when you're going through it. It still hits hard. It still knocks the wind out of you. But sometimes, the only way to discover what you're made of is to break. Think about it. The strongest trees grow in the toughest wind. Steel gets forged in fire. Diamonds come from pressure. We say stuff like that all the time, but when it's our life in the heat, our heart in the flames, we forget. We think we're being punished. But maybe, just maybe, we're being refined. Maybe the pain is shaping us into something more solid, more real, more capable than we've ever been before. The truth is, if everything was easy, we'd stay soft. We'd stay shallow. Comfort doesn't build character, pain does. Discomfort teaches you where your limits are. And sometimes, it teaches you that your limits aren't even real. You only thought they were. You ever notice how the things that hurt the most are the same things that wake you up? It's the heartbreak that teaches you what love really means. It's the loss that shows you how temporary and precious life really is. It's the failure that forces you to level up, to ask better questions, to start chasing what matters instead of chasing what's popular. Pain can't be avoided, and maybe it shouldn't be. We spend so much time trying to numb it, outrun it, bury it under distractions. But pain that gets ignored doesn't go away. It just waits. And when you finally slow down, it catches up. But when you face it, really face it, something powerful happens. You start learning. You start growing. You stop pretending everything's fine. And you start becoming someone who's real. Some of the most solid people you'll ever meet have scars. Not just on their skin, but in their soul. You wouldn't know it by looking at them, but they've been through hell. They've lost things they never talk about. They've cried when no one was around. They've doubted themselves, questioned God, felt forgotten. But they kept going, and because of that, they walk different. They speak with weight. They live with purpose. You can't fake that. You can't buy it or borrow it. That kind of depth only comes from pain that had a purpose. And maybe you're in it right now. Maybe nothing makes sense. You're tired of being strong. You're tired of hearing people say, "This will pass," when every day feels like you're just surviving. But sometimes the purpose of the pain isn't to get through it quickly. It's to change you while you're in it. It's to teach you something you couldn't learn any other way. It's not there to break you down. It's there to break off the parts of you that don't belong anymore. The fear, the pride, the need for control, the idea that you're not enough, the version of you that was playing small. Pain has a way of burning through all of that and leaving behind something stronger, something truer. There comes a point when you feel it. You don't always know what it is at first. Sometimes it's a restlessness you can't shake. Sometimes it's a pull in your chest when you're alone and the noise fades. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's just there, quiet but steady, calling you to something more, something deeper, something real. Most people feel it at some point in their life, that tug in their soul. But not everyone answers it. Not because they don't care, not because they're weak, but because the world has a way of convincing us to ignore it, to stay comfortable, to follow the crowd, to keep things safe and predictable. So we silence the call with distractions. We tell ourselves we'll listen later, when things calm down, when we've got it all figured out. But that call, it doesn't wait forever. You weren't made to just exist. You weren't meant to live a copy-paste life, doing the same thing every day, staying inside the lines, just because someone else drew them. Deep down, you know that. You've known it for a long time. That's why it's been bothering you. Not in a painful way, but in that soul-level discomfort kind of way. The kind that won't let you settle. The kind that whispers, "There's more." And the truth is, there is more. But it's not handed to you. You've got to go after it. You've got to make the decision, even when it's inconvenient. You've got to answer the call, even when you don't know what's on the other side of it. Because the moment you do, the moment you say, "I'm in," everything starts to change. It's not about being fearless. It's not about being ready. It's about being honest. About admitting that where you are isn't where you want to stay. About owning the fact that the life you want isn't going to build itself. You've got to move. You've got to shift. You've got to stop asking for permission to become the person you were built to be. And yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable. The call usually shows up when you're not ready. When things feel uncertain, when the path looks foggy, when stepping forward feels risky. That's how you know it's real. Because purpose rarely comes with a safety net. But here's the thing, you don't need a guarantee. You just need courage. You just need one moment where you trust what's pulling you more than you trust your fear. And don't expect everyone to understand. They won't. People are going to question you, tell you to be practical, remind you of all the reasons you should stay where it's familiar. Let them. It's not their call. It's yours. No one else hears what you hear. No one else feels what you feel. That call wasn't meant for them. It was meant for you. Answering it doesn't mean you'll have all the answers. It just means you're willing to take the first step without seeing the whole staircase. It means you're ready to trust the fire inside you more than the noise around you. Because the truth is, nothing will ever satisfy you like following what was planted in your spirit from the beginning. Not money, not fame, not validation, just alignment. That deep feeling of knowing you're doing what you were born to do. And maybe what you're called to isn't flashy. Maybe it's not what the world applauds. That doesn't make it any less powerful. Sometimes answering the call means being the person who shows up when no one else does. Sometimes it means building something from scratch. Sometimes it means healing from something you didn't cause. Sometimes it's just about standing up and saying, I'm not who I was yesterday, and I'm not afraid of who I'm becoming. What matters is that you listen, that you stop pretending you don't feel it, that you stop burying your potential under excuses. The call doesn't ask you to be perfect, it asks you to be present. It asks you to rise, to become, to say yes to the reason you're still here, still breathing, still carrying that fire that never seems to die. No matter how much you've been through. So maybe this isn't just another message. Maybe this is the one you were meant to hear right now. Not from me, but from something deeper. From the voice that's been trying to reach you through the chaos, through the silence, through the ache and the questions. The voice that's been trying to wake you up, not to scare you, not to shame you, but to remind you, you're still here. That means something. There's a reason you've walked through what you've walked through. A reason your heart still beats, even after all the moments that tried to break it. A reason you feel pulled toward something more, even when you can't explain it. That's not coincidence. That's not chance. That's God, calling you out of survival mode and into purpose. Calling you to stop running from the pain, the time you've wasted, the dreams you've buried, and start living like your life actually matters. Because it does. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. Owning where you are. Facing what you've been through. And still choosing to rise. Choosing to say yes to the purpose that's been inside you from the beginning. Don't wait. Don't let fear steal what's yours. Don't let the world keep you numb. Don't let your past write the next chapter. Time's moving, and you've got something to do here. Something that only you can bring to the world. This is the message. This is the moment.